Hey, Aurora. Hey, Kayla. Hello, Lynette. Hey, Julie. Once again, it feels like forever since I've done this. Hey, Fern. Yeah, the only one we lack over here right now is Lily. She's drinking water. And our little Victoria is turning into a chunky monkey. She has gotten big. She's very soft and fluffy too, so I don't think she's as chunky as she appears. She's just got kind of thick fur. Unlike Clara and Copper. Copper is chunky. Aren't you? Well, come on up. Come on up and have a seat. Well, that was a very short visit. But she does plenty of visiting. Hey, Joe. She does plenty of visiting during the day. Right after she has her breakfast every morning, she curls up in my lap every day. And she stays there until I get a little stir crazy and my foot or my leg goes to sleep, because I try not to move and disturb her. And Clara needs to go back to the vet. I've got to make time to take her back to the vet. She's still got some kind of rash thing going on her ear, and she's still scratching despite having a flea treatment. And she is, Aurora, very soft. But yeah, she's got a couple of little scabs on her where she's been scratching, and she's got a rough patch on, you can probably see it, that's on the tip of her, back tip of her left ear. She's not gonna get close, but you can kind of see that. I think it's some kind of I thought it was ringworm at first, and now I know it's not ringworm. I think it's some kind of dermatitis. It's impossible to pill Clara. I've tried to give her some Benadryl in one of the little pill pockets, and she absolutely refuses. I've tried to pill her, and I think she's just as bad as Luna with pills. She fought me tooth and nail and just would not swallow the pill. So I've got to take her back to the vet, and hopefully they can give her like a cortisone shot or something, or a steroid or whatever it takes to get her well. Well, I was going to show you, but she ran away. Yeah, some cats you can and some cats you can't. Our cat at home, Murray, he takes a pill every day, and we just put it in a little pill pocket and roll it up, and he takes it just fine. But Luna, on the other hand, I mean, you would pretty much have to have a slingshot and someone hold her mouth open to get a pill down her throat. But in other news, as far as Stumpy goes, I've been doing things a little different in the mornings with the dry food because, hey Donna, when I get here in the morning, everybody, I'm like the Pied Piper when I walk in here. All the cats follow me, and Copper's yelling at me, and Victoria's yelling at me, and Clara doesn't yell, but she makes it known that she's ready to eat. Stumpy squeaks and follows me around, and Lily kind of runs around and waits in her room. But I kept running into the problem where Clara plays musical dishes and wouldn't let Stumpy eat, and Stumpy wasn't eating enough. So I started feeding Stumpy in this room. You know, the kittens room is there, and this room over here is where I keep the food anyway. So I started feeding Stumpy in there in the mornings, and she's gotten pretty much trained to go in there in the mornings and at lunch when I give them their lunch. But what I've also been doing is she seems to be a lot more calm in that room without the other cats around her. So I pet her, and I've been picking her up, and I set her in my lap, and she seems to enjoy it. I mean, she doesn't stay there for any great length of time, but she'll plop down in my lap and rub her head all over my leg. And Stumpy has never, ever been one to be picked up. But she's gotten better about it since I've started feeding her in there, and I'll just sit in the chair next to her, and she comes to me, and she doesn't seem to mind it. I don't do it out here. She's still a little anxious out here with the other cats. But if I can ever get Copper and Victoria adopted, I think she'll settle in out here too. Because Clara doesn't bother her, Lily doesn't bother her. Every now and then, Copper tries to play with her, and the same with Victoria. And she's still not real sure about them. You know, obviously the longer she is around them, the more comfortable she'll get, but and she's been around them a while, but she still has not fully accepted it. And I think Clara needs a claw trim, because it's either Clara or Victoria. They both need a claw trim, but somebody's, see the little scab on Copper's head where somebody was playing with him and scratched him. Hey. But I got to see Sheldon for just a few minutes this afternoon. I took a late lunch break and went by there to visit with him. I felt bad for him because, and I guess it wasn't an all-day thing because it didn't start until I walked in there, but one of the vets had their dog with them today in the kennels, and the dog was in the kennel right next to Sheldon. And I I walked in there, and the dog barks when he sees people he doesn't know. It's a little Chihuahua. And that dog lost his mind. But Sheldon, he stayed where he was. He's laying in the litter box, and he didn't have a meltdown about it, so that was good. I didn't open the kennel and try to pet him or anything like that. I'm gonna give him his space for now and let him settle in his own time. I do want to go by the pet store either tonight or tomorrow. I just don't know that I'll have a chance to go by there. They're only open until noon tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have a chance to go by there tomorrow to take a little bed or a cave or whatever I can find. I want to find something that he can get underneath and hide to make him feel a little more secure if he wants to. But it may be Monday before I can get in there to give it to him. I'm just not sure yet, because I don't know if I'll make it to the pet store tonight. It's possible, but I don't know. If I go to the pet store tonight, it will have to be as soon as I leave here. And I just don't know what they're gonna have. I thought about the little cave bed that, not the cave bed, but the tunnel that Wilson loves so much. But I don't know if they'll have one of those at PetSmart, or if it'll be too big for the kennel. I've also thought about the cave bed that we have at home, but I don't know how much he'll like having something that smells like our house with all the other cats. So, what are you doing? I gotta keep my finger out of the way. She is definitely growing. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that about Stella. I have not checked in a little while on the stream to see if Melanie has let her out yet or not. But I think we will probably, hey, Copper, probably move that crate kind of over in a corner, is what I'm thinking. In the corner where the litter boxes used to be, kind of push it over towards that side of the wall where it opens up the room a little more, and then we can let her out and see what she does. I'm curious to see if she's content staying in the crate, or if she'll be happy to get out and wander around. I don't think we're going to let her out and give her the run of the house at first. We're gonna take some baby steps, and because the last thing I want is for her to venture out and somebody get upset and try to attack her, and just kind of ease into this. Yeah, Wilson really wanted to play last night, and he and Hank both wanted to play fetch, and it's gotten hard to play fetch in there right now because the crate is right in the middle of the floor where they used to bring the mouse back. But yeah, poor Sheldon. I really hope we can figure something out for him. I think everybody is in agreement that he's just stray and not feral. Yeah, that's what he was playing with last night. And I tried to toss it for him a couple of times, and then Hank wanted to play, and Wilson kind of retreats when Hank gets involved because Hank always smacks him. But yeah, I'm just hoping with time Sheldon is going to warm up, and it may be that we have to have all of Sheldon's teeth pulled. It remains to be seen. I guess we'll know that, whether that's the case on Monday. Also, we'll know a little more about the ulcers in his mouth. I saw someone had commented about a cat that showed up at their house with periodontal disease, and that cat had ulcers in its mouth, and they said they went away once the teeth were extracted. The perk, I guess, if there is any perk to having all of his teeth extracted, is, he's a carrier of FIV. He can't really infect any other cats with no teeth. The downside to that is if he ends up being more feral than we suspect he is, he can't be re-released without his teeth. So it's kind of a slippery slope here on how this is all going to shake out. But I mean, the fact that he wasn't running away from people, he wasn't avoiding human contact altogether when he was outside at the gas station, and the fact that one of the techs was able to clean his nose off tells me that he should make progress as far as socialization. Should. I'm hopeful that he will. Definitely seems that way. I mean, he was across the parking lot on the second night I tried to trap him. He was, all the way across the parking lot from where I was. And I had the trap set, but he wasn't showing much interest in it. And I had a bag of dry food, and I got out and I shook the bag, and he came running to me. I couldn't find my laser pointer the other day. I think it's either buried in the drawer under something, or someone has knocked it behind my desk or underneath something. And if they did, it's my fault for leaving it on my desk, but I've got to find it. I haven't seen it in a few days. Yeah, we've had the buildings we were told about the buildings being donated basically for Paws to use a few months ago, but we've yet to be able to proceed until we have the plans drawn up and all that, and I just don't know what that's going to cost. I'm hoping we can find someone that's an architect or whatever, and that will donate the time to draw everything up, and then we'll have to raise money, and then we can get started. But until the plans are done, I guess we really know what it's going to cost. And I got a new keyboard today, so they got a new box to play in. That's made Victoria very happy today. She's spent a lot of time hopping in and out of that box. Hello, Miss Clara. I feel like I have a splinter in my finger from something. That's our hope. It will definitely make things easier as far as having a lack of fosters. Hey, don't eat that paper. Having a lack of fosters, it kind of handcuffs some of the things we can and can't do. Because we don't have anywhere else to go when we don't have a foster. So we end up having to turn people away sometimes, which we hate doing. I especially hate doing it. Laura has gotten a lot better at telling people no than I have. I have a hard time with it. But on the flip side of that, we pulled 2 cats, excuse me, from a rescue near the Alabama-Georgia line. It's not a no-kill shelter because those don't exist in Alabama. But there was and you maybe, Donna, heard me talking to Larry about this last night, but one of the cats is probably between a year and 2 years old. Her name is Addie. She was an owner surrender. Owners were moving and she couldn't go. She's already fixed. She just needed her shots to be updated, which was done today. And we got a 12-week-old kitten that was picked up by animal control over there who had not been fixed. And he was on stray hold until today. But we got him today. It's a little gray and white kitten. So they don't have to worry about anything at this point. And in the process, met a really nice lady that offered to drive them down here, that volunteers with the shelters up there and does a lot of work with not just that shelter, but several of the ones in that area too. Yeah, rescues are the only option for no kill. Any of the humane shelters here are not no kill. Well, I think these two are very adoptable from everything I was told. And the little gray kitten, I mean, he will have zero problem being adopted. He's being fostered by a lady that's fostering a kitten that's a little younger that she said needed a playmate because he was being unruly and had bad manners, and she wanted to get another kitten to kind of help socialize him. So they'll be buddies for a little while, and then we'll get him fixed and he'll go up for adoption once the other one is a little more well-mannered. But I'll share some pictures in the group later, or maybe when I get done here. It shouldn't take me just a second to put them in there. I think I saved them to my phone, but I didn't want to post them and jump the gun and jinx anything before they actually got here. But they were transported this morning and dropped off at the vet around 9:15. And I got a text from the foster a little while ago that said she was on the way to pick the kitten up. Hey, Clay. Well, Fern, it will definitely be a little easier. Well, I say easier. There was no easier way that we could have worked it out as far as transport last time, but the group that you sent me, I've joined that group, and I haven't interacted much with the people there, but it seems like a good group of folks that are very capable of making transports happen. Hey, Stumpy. 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 Come here. Come here, Stump. Stumpy. I wish I could take you guys in that room over there and show you Stumpy's progress, but it's so dark in there. You wouldn't be able to see anything. I tried to take a picture of her the other day when she was sitting in my lap, and I mean, you could barely tell Stumpy is a cat. It's so dark in there. It has the same type of lighting as this room over here, but darker for some reason. Speaking of needing a nail trim, this guy really needs it. Well, I'm glad, Fern. I'm glad everything worked out. And that they didn't turn out like Hank and Wilson and just completely freeze up around new people. Hey, Clara. I can only imagine how Hank and Wilson would have reacted to the same scenario had we put them in a crate and had them taken to Florida. Hey, Kimberly. We certainly do. Well, I haven't gotten on my soapbox about Alabama weather yet today. It was like 80 degrees yesterday. Maybe 79, but I think it got to 80 or 81 where we are. And I don't think it broke 60 today. I think it was upper 50s here today, and maybe a little cooler tomorrow. Had some nutty weather past 24 hours. Yeah, I did not complain a bit about the warmth. My only complaint yesterday was that I was at work and not able to be out and enjoy it, which I did get to spend a little more time in it than I typically would because I had a doctor's appointment that I had to go to, and then I had to pick Sheldon up from the spay-neuter clinic and drive him to the vet, so I was out a little bit. Copper. Hello, Stumpy. You coming back? See how nervous she is? That was copper in the tunnel over there. Any sudden movement or sound and she flinches or runs away. Hey, Mr. Krabs. Oh, hello, Stump. That's Stumpy. Yeah, she's got some pretty crazy whiskers. Hey, Catherine. Oh, that's Clara. Victoria is very, very soft. Clara, her hair is a little more wiry. Definitely nowhere near as soft and fluffy as Victoria. Stumpy is very soft. You can kind of tell the way her hair looks. Yeah, Clara has a little bit more of a coarse hair texture. And she's still scratching. Got to get her to the vet. Got to. It's been a crazy week and I haven't been able to do it this week, but you're gonna go, Miss Clara. Maybe Monday afternoon before I can do it, but it's got to happen. See if I can get an appointment at like 5 o'clock Monday afternoon. Sebastian and Lumiere. I think it's Lumiere. Is that how you say it? Lumiere. However that is properly pronounced. Yeah, Stumpy loves this thing. She just doesn't like to get in the middle of what that guy's doing. She also likes the laser pointer, which is MIA at the moment. I believe so too. Yeah, I think that's the general consensus. We were told that the little girls changed their names to that, but they still call them Ozzy and Devin sometimes because I don't know. They're not confused, but Ozzy and Devin was their name when they found out they were getting the cats. But they'll get it all figured out. Stella is Stumpy's mother. Yeah, Stumpy and Lily are sisters from the same litter. But Stumpy was not. She was not caught at the same time as Lily was. Stumpy came to us when she was still very young and pregnant. She was the first cat we ever fostered was Stumpy and her litter. And that was before we knew anything about kitten cams and all of that. It was just something we did. Yeah, Lily needed to gain some weight though. She had gotten a little too skinny. But since she's kind of taken residence in that room, I can close the door when she eats and she's not so nervous about eating like she was over here. It was a struggle to get her to eat all her food most of the time when I would feed her over there. But now I just put her in the room with her food and close the door and she's good. I was watching a Jackson Galaxy video about how you shouldn't feed them near one another, how cats are so territorial and it's best to spread them out, which we've always done at home anyway by necessity because one finishes before the other and then they try to take the other one's food and it's just easier to keep everybody separated. It wasn't always a necessity here, but apparently it's what we should have been doing the whole time. But yeah, Lily has that room, Stumpy has this room, Victoria eats on the table, Clara eats over here, and Copper has the room around the corner over there. I'd like to be able to put Clara in maybe this room right here, but I don't know, she doesn't seem to like to be shut up in any of the rooms. Yeah, if you look at Jackson Galaxy's channel, he posted a video, I think it was today, about it. This is Stumpy, Catherine. But he said he had a client and he walked in, he's like, I immediately knew she had 5 cats because they just knocked this box down, Copper and Victoria. But he knew she had 5 cats because all 5 dishes were just like, there was 5 dishes in a row. And he talks about how cats are territorial and all that. But I mean, I've seen some cats that are, every cat is different. Some cats are totally fine eating around another cat. I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as the cats are tolerant. Yeah, Wilson has been approaching the front of the crate when I open it up and I sit in there with her, and you know, he sticks his head in, and sometimes she'll start to groom him and clean his head, and then sometimes she starts to groom him and then she smacks him. And what are you guys doing? But at any rate, it is now after 6:45, and I'm a little hungry, and I don't know what I'm gonna eat yet, but I think I'm gonna start gathering my stuff and figure that out so I can go home and eat. You'll probably see me in with Stella a little later if Melanie has not already let her out to explore the room and move the crate and all that. She hasn't sent me any text to tell me she has, but I will check in on that when I get home. And we may have to go back to our old camera mounted on the wall. Not sure yet, so we're gonna play that by ear. But yeah, we'll do something. I guess we'll just have to watch and find out, because I don't even know yet. So, but thank you, everybody. Sorry again, we don't do this as often as we used to, but we get them in when we can. So I hope you all have a good night and a good weekend if I don't talk to you again later tonight or over the weekend. But I'll post the other cats that we brought down from the shelter in the group later tonight, and hopefully get the room situated where you can see more of the room and everybody can watch Stella's progress. But thank you, everybody. Hope you all have a good night, and we will